It's always great to have a nice, clean, functional setup. Something that lets you do what you need to do, but also brings you joy because you just like it. But getting to that point can cost a lot of money. So I wanted to bring that cost down as far as I could while still giving you really high quality products and also a really functional setup. So with all of this, you have everything that you need, but it doesn't break the bank. I try to keep it around $500. And for this, it's BYOC, bring your own computer. So it really doesn't matter what you're using, whether you're on Android or iOS, or you have a MacBook like I have a 16-inch MacBook Pro, or you have a Windows laptop or a MacBook Air, it doesn't matter. Any of these accessories will work with what you already have and just take it to that next level. Input, I think, is one of the most important things with a new setup. You're trying to get things done, so having a good keyboard and mouse is a great starting point. And the keyboard I have here is the Keychron K4. Now, I've been a fan of Keychron since they really came out. I've been using the K2 for a while now, and the new K4, this is the V2 version, takes all the stuff I love there, but gives you a full-size keyboard. So you have a number pad, and it fixes some of the things that I didn't like about the K2, like it was kind of cheap feeling. This has an aluminum frame, so it's very hefty, has a nice weight to it. It's also RGB. They also have a hot swappable version, so you can change the type of keys. I have brown switches here, but you can easily change to blue or red, depending on what you need. And it does all the other things you'd want it to do. It's a Bluetooth keyboard, but you can also use it wired. It has a 4,000 milliamp hour battery, so it'll last a long time. I've only recharged it once in the few months I've been using it. My favorite thing about it is that it's Mac compatible. I'm glad Keychron is making a splash in the space and actually creating new keyboards. And overall, I think this keyboard is a good starting place for those wanting to get into mechanical keyboards. And it's even a good ending place. You could easily buy this keyboard, use it forever until it breaks, and you'll be perfectly happy. You can get this keyboard for $70, which I think is an excellent deal for what you're getting. And I'll leave that link down below along with everything else that I'm going to be talking about. By the way, while I work on the B-roll for this video and this completely unscripted, totally natural little cutaway, you should definitely subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We're gonna have a lot of content coming up, and if you like this video, there's gonna be more of it. Motorcycles. Now, equally as important as the keyboard is the mouse. I've talked about this one before, but I've just never found anything better. It's the Logitech Mx Master 3. It's a tried and true standard in the industry, and it's just great for the buttons that it has, the customization, so you can change every single button to do whatever you want it to, and the scroll wheel. This is one of my favorite things about it. I have mine programmed to zoom in and out, but you can set it to scroll side to side. I mean, there's a bunch of different options that you have here. And with the Mx Master 3 in specific, the reason I recommend this over the older versions is that it has USB-C. I've been trying to get micro USB out of my life as much as possible, and the mouse was one thing that was lacking, but since they had released this and I've upgraded to it, having that USB-C charging is really helpful. Now those two are sitting on the Orbitkey desk mat, and I think having a desk mat is kind of nice. It just ties together the entire setup instead of just having your keyboard and mouse on the desk. And what's great about this desk mat is that it actually has like a little bit of a function besides just aesthetic. So it has a vegan leather top and a felt bottom, comes in a few different colors, but it does a bit more. So up top you have a section, you can put your pen here or your Apple Pencil depending on what you're using at the time, a little nice storage space. But there's also a little magnetic clamp that you can use for cables, and that can slide along the entire width of the mat. So if you have a cable that you want to always have available, you don't want it to slide behind the desk, which is very annoying when it happens. This will hold it there. You can move it wherever you need it to be. It's great. And then another hidden feature is that you can lift up, and there's a little hidden compartment for papers or documents that you're using. This is great for those times, you know, you need to jot something down, but you don't always need it out. I love having this here. It just really helps have a clean and tidy desk. Okay, so that's great, but you actually need something to hold your computer, whatever that may be. I'm using a MacBook Pro 16-inch, and it's sitting on a 12 South high rise. This has been out for quite a while, but I think aesthetically it's one of the best options, even still all these years later. It will fit pretty much any laptop of any size. Again, I have the 16-inch, but it can go all the way down to 13-inch. It has a very Apple aesthetic. I mean, it's clearly got some inspiration from other Apple products, but beyond that, it is height adjustable, so you can put your laptop exactly at eye level or wherever you want it to be, and the laptop won't slip off. I was a little worried about that, but the rubber feet that it has are very secure, and you can easily easily lift off, put your laptop down. It's a great way to use your laptop in a more desktop environment, but still have the ability to easily take it and go. I'm very picky about my laptop stands because I want them to actually have function, and this one does. But I think this is a great option if you're using a laptop to give it a more desktop-like experience. Of course, if you're not using a laptop, you don't need this stand, but if you are, this is one of my favorite stands. Okay, so that's kind of the main chunk out of the way, but let's get to audio next. So I have a few different options here depending on what you're looking for. If you want a wired option of over-ear headphones that I think are just solid, check out the MDR 7506. These are a tried and true in the industry. If you look on a film set or an editing bay, chances are someone is going to be using these headphones, and that's because they're just a solid pair. They're very even, they're very natural. They give you a good frame of reference of what the audio you're listening to is actually sounding like. But they also do sound pretty good, and for the price, it's pretty hard to beat. These are a pretty old pair of headphones. They've been out for a long time, and I kind of like that old school look that they have. So I think for $100, if you're looking for over-ear headphones, this is a good place to look. But if you want the wireless routes, I'm actually going to recommend the Pixel Buds. I think these have been slept on a little bit. They were announced, but then kind of forgotten about. But I think if you're looking for a good pair of wireless earbuds that work with whatever device you're using, this is a good place to look. Typically, I recommend AirPods, and I still think those are a good option. But if you're a little bit more device agnostic, this is a good pair of headphones. I think the case is small, well designed. The earbuds fit really well in your ear. You also get Google Assistant built in. I've done an entire video on these earbuds, so I'll leave that link down below or up here so you can check that out if you want. But if you're looking for a wireless pair, that's a good option. If you want the over-ear headphones, I think those Sonys are a great way to go. Okay, so now let's talk about where to keep your phone. You're at your desk using your computer, don't need your phone, but you want it available. If you have an iPhone 12 series phone, my favorite right now is the Anker PowerWave with the magnet built in. It's not a MagSafe charger, so you're not gonna get those top tier speeds, but it is still magnetic, and that means you can just plop your phone there and it kind of floats, just has a really good design. While it's sitting there, you can adjust the angle. Since it is magnetic, it's pretty easy to do. And below the stand portion, there's another wireless charger for your headphones. So if you do get those Pixel Buds, or if you have something like AirPods, you can just set them there and they will just charge. The only issue with this is it only works with the iPhone 12 series of phones. So if you don't have one of those, I recommend getting the Pixel stand. This is my favorite wireless charging stand. I like having my phone standing instead of just sitting on a pad, which is why I think the stand is a better option. And this is a very, I think, premium wireless charger. It feels really well built, but at the same time, the design doesn't scream out at you. It can easily sit on your desk and stay out of the way, but function the way you need it to. So those are a few products that will give you an entire setup and will actually last you a long time. They're all really high quality products that I use on a daily basis, and they serve a function while I think also looking good. So, you can be proud of what your setup looks like.